Hey guys, welcome to Contest Prep University. I'm Joe Klemzeski with Adam Atkinson. We're going to do another episode in our series, Coaching Behind the Scenes. And I want to talk about getting media exposure because I was part of this industry before there was social media. And I would hear this phrase all the time, Adam. People would say, I want to compete. I want to win this title. I want this kind of, pro status for the exposure. And what everybody thought back then was I'm gonna be in the cover of Muscle and Fitness magazine, or I'm gonna become a model, or there were certainly avenues, although smaller back then. Now with social media, when somebody says I want to build exposure, there is infinite possibility for that because you are literally just creating a personal brand, and you can create an audience and then do all kinds of things with that audience.
Absolutely. This is a really cool topic. I'm pretty excited to talk about this one. I think
Yeah.
one of the reasons I'm really passionate about my athletes doing more than just bodybuilding, and we'll talk about this as we go, but bodybuilding really can open a lot of avenues for you. And now with Instagram, the possibilities are endless. Um, I wake up blessed and very thankful every day that I do something that I love. I want that nothing more for the people that work with me and I'm close with.
Mhm. Of course, coaching is a big thing right now, and I don't know if tens of thousands of people are nutrition and prep coaches, or hundreds of thousands at this point. But whenever somebody comes to me because of our licensing program through the Diet Doc, or my Apex Fitness Entrepreneur business coaching, or just certifications through the SNA or NAMS, the first thought in my mind, and somebody actually contacted me from the UK just today. I was sending him a video message, is why you? What makes you special? What will draw people to you? And it goes to the very heart of what we're describing right now, is creating some kind of a personal brand that is based on the novelties and the passions and the experience that are uniquely you. And we probably both have some great examples to go through. But whenever I am working with a coach on the business development side, that's what we center on first. That's the first set of curricula that we go through. And that often extends all the way through other aspects of building a business. But if you don't have something that is absolutely novel and that people care about, and that you're providing tangible, real value, people will just pass you by because we're all in this economy for attention span. And are you going to be somebody that people just kind of scroll through or unfollow or never even notice? And so I think there are some definite steps to go through in building the exposure that you can gain from and because of the sport.
Absolutely. I think a great example of this is if we look at Dana Lynn Bailey, look at everything she did. Strong competitor for a while, and then all of a sudden, probably one of the first people in the industry that was a competitor that started designing t-shirts. So she did her Flag Nor Fail brand, which just really took off. And I almost feel like she's almost more known for that versus being a competitor anymore these days. And that's really cool. So that's just a good example of if you guys want to look up who that is, on someone who was very successful at taking their bodybuilding career and turning it into something else.
Yeah, let me give you a couple of good examples too, because that is a great perspective on taking your bodybuilding career platform and then creating a business out of that. I'll go through some of my Apex coaches, one being Lauren Conlon, who has her bachelor's and master's in exercise science, considering doing a PhD. It just loves this. Like, I met her. She was still in college when I met her at a camp I was speaking at. And she's just always geeked out on the science stuff. That's her passion. She also has a team of female coaches, and attracts more of bikini and figure competitors to herself. But as she has grown her brand, uh, it's again just one of, I don't know, 10,000 or something like that. And so how do you get noticed? Everybody says that they're science based. Everybody says that they're evidence based. So how can you cut through that noise? And we talked about the communication and the way that she can really just convey the fact that she has created a team. This is a community that you join, and here's why we're different. I think also of Chet and Natalie Nichols, who came to me in my Apex program, both IFBB pros, both judges. They do a lot of judging through the year, NPC judging, and they just really have a good eye for helping people, with what they need specifically for the stage. So I said, you guys need to start creating content around just that. If I'm a competitor, what you can give me that other people can't are the fact that you are a judge and you're going to tell me exactly what judges want on that stage. And so they started doing that and they just blew up. Now they have a massive business because they just took that simple turn into creating a persona that was hyper specific and unique to their credentials. So I could go on and on and on with people who are looking at different aspects of life and competition in their unique skill sets. But that's what I mean by having a premise. You can't just say, okay, I'm gonna be a competitor. I have a nice title. I'm a pro now, so therefore I'm gonna somehow become famous. You still have to attract people to you for valuable, tangible content and knowledge.
Yeah, you have to connect with people, and people have to connect with you. One of my wellness clients turned pro this year. Her name's Sierra Schaefer. I think she's very close to being one of the first Americans to turn as a wellness pro. And I said, you really have a wide open runway because a lot of people are going to connect with you. Because if you don't speak Spanish or Portuguese, it's hard for a lot of people to engage with that. And I said, you're going to be somebody that a lot of people look up to. And we were just kind of discussing all the avenues that she could go down. And I'm like, is there anything outside of fitness you wanted to do? Or even within fitness, you can probably promote it very, very well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I'll give you another good example of how diverse you can create that premise. Because if she's looking to do this, I think it still has to be something more than just your photos and your image and, hey, look at me, look how great I look, my physique and so forth. That's a huge part of it. Don't get me wrong. I'm gonna push that to the side for just a minute because that's a huge part of your success. But I think it helps to have that intellectual angle covered. And I think of people like Dr. Spencer Nadolsky. He was one of our guests on Nutrition Coaching Global Mastermind, and he's just made this business out of creating memes. He's a physician, general practitioner, and he just wants to get good information out there to people, dispel myths and that sort of thing. And so as a physician, if somebody's looking for credibility, obviously that's built in. But then he's giving super tangible information. Do this, don't do this. This is stupid. Look at this study. Here's what you should be focusing on. And people follow him because they get those tidbits of information. So can be virtually anything, but coming back to your competitor and as a platform, I would ask you, as you look on social media and you see the people who have 1 million followers, 5 million followers, maybe 100,000 followers, and you scan through their Instagram feed, what do you typically visually see?
That they're usually giving something of value. So usually some type of lesson or teaching, or they're either that or they have a product that people really like and enjoy.
Mm-hmm. But on the visual side, it's usually pictures of themselves doing that.
Yeah,
And
typically it is.
yeah, and that's kind of that base appeal. I will say even though I'm over 50 years old and have very, very few competitive photos from, my 20-year pro career, as an introvert, as somebody who has pretty low ego needs, I just don't even have that material to post, and I'm not that comfortable doing it. Therefore, you don't see me as some sort of an Insta famous person always putting out pictures of myself. And if you're trying to grow a brand, that is the exact wrong thing to do. You have to, even if you're not naturally extroverted, you do have to see yourself as an important part of that brand. You are the brand that you're creating. So I think the people who are just more comfortable behind a camera, they're using they're using life almost partly as that lens. What's going to be the next thing I'm working on? Where's the good photo opportunity? How can I add some humor and personality to this? There's all of that is just super, super engaging. And so I think when it comes down to the combination of daily life photos, but then also having some incredible contest or physique photo shoot quality material that you can continue to use over and over, I think that's a huge part of it.
Absolutely. Or if you have a great coach on your team, he can turn you into a cartoon overnight, like Zach does for me.
Yeah. Yeah, I got to talk to you about some of that stuff later. I was just talking to somebody else about animation type programs and apps and that kind of thing. But I have a really weird example. So just this jogged my memory just from the last couple of days. In terms of creating that persona, which is part of the word personality, I ran across a YouTube video of somebody who does heavy metal recreation covers of popular songs. So the first one I saw was WAP. This heavy metal guy does that. And then I just thought that was funny. But then I saw in the feed that, wow, he's got a lot more. And then I saw this guy gets 5 million views per video, and he's been doing it for years. And he's so freaking entertaining. First of all, he's good at what he does. He's just a phenomenal musician. He's doing all the instrumentation himself. The video quality, I mean, it must take him an entire 8 to 12 hour day to produce a 4-minute video because it is so incredibly high quality. And I know it's difficult for people to start there when you're building a personal fitness brand and spend all of that time. Eventually, when a guy like that is making all the money he needs just in ad revenue, you can afford to do that. But it does speak to the premise of quality, just putting something out there that is both visually and as you said, Adam, is just tangibly of great value, something people want to look at. Because again, you are competing for people's attention, and there is an infinite amount of information out there that you're now competing against.
Yeah, absolutely. And the pool just keeps getting bigger year by year. There's more and more people in the industry.
Mm-hmm. Well, let's dig into you a little bit because you are somebody that I think did this extremely well early on. Your success and notoriety as a coach, I think, is in large part due to your very savvy use of social media. So tell me what your mindset was 5, 6, 7, 8 years ago when you started deciding, hey, I got to start an Instagram, presence, and I've got to create some content. And you had to make some decisions at some point about consistency and frequency. So kind of walk through how you did that.
I'm glad you mentioned consistency because that's one of the big things I'll talk about. It's funny because I did scroll to the very beginning of my social media just a couple days ago. I was looking for a photo for somebody, and you can really tell where it kind of geared more business versus like personal life. So now that's all I post is business stuff. But one of the big things for me was consistency. I also knew, like, I just genuinely, I even wanted people I was competing against or other coaches to like me. So when I put out information, I wanted it to be, well, this is how I do it, and this is why this is kind of the correct way to do it. I never wanted to just kind of throw someone who did differently under the bus because we all have the chance to learn. And I've done things the wrong way before. So coming from that, I just want that consistency of never really throwing people under the bus and it just being a comfortable place for people to come. Because why would someone come to my page if they feel like I'm going to, passively aggressively fire shots at them? So that was one of the big things. And then I also just said I was going to be myself because that persona was going to be the most consistent. So when people meet me in person, they don't say, wow, he's way different in person than he is on social media, because you hear that all the time. And you'll just always consistently be yourself better than anyone else.
One of the things that I thought of you initially when I saw you doing this years ago, what was you were very generous. The social media wasn't all about you. It was typically about your clients. And there are ways to use those humble brags where it's like, oh, hey, let me show you my newest pro card winner champion. And of course you're saying, by the way, I'm the one who made this happen. I'm the coach, and I was integral in that. So that's understood. You're not off the hook for that, Adam. But that's a necessary part. Everybody understands that when you're using social media for business building purposes, that you gotta be known for what you do. But there is a generosity in doing it where you are highlighting other people. You mentioned being inclusive, not being derisive against other people. So you do have a chance to be well liked in the industry, which is important. But I do think there is definitely a way to do good storytelling in terms of, here's this person, here's what they struggled through, this is what they had to overcome, and here's how they did it. So there's some educational information, there's motivational information, it's other centered, and there's kind of an arc and a purpose to it. So I think that's the kind of content I saw from you that was compelling enough, I think, to really attract all of the type of clientele that you've had over the years.
Yeah, and we've always had wide variety, which I've always liked. You'll see a lot of teams, they maybe are a very young team or, maybe all masters competitors. I feel like we have all different types, shapes, and sizes of people.
Mm-hmm. So now, for you guys watching or listening, take that example of what Adam did and apply it to you as maybe not a coach, somebody who wants to get into fitness modeling, or you just want that fitness type presence. Another person we had on the Nutrition Coaching Global Mastermind just last night was Amanda Howell. She has a master's in public health, and very much like Dr. Nadolski, she wants to put out just good information. She wants to tell people, hey, don't fall into this pitfall, this trap. Here's what you need to know about this topic. And so it's just great academic, usable, tangible information. I don't think she's necessarily that interested in her career as a physique star. To be honest, I don't even know if she competes. I don't think she does. But at the same time, you still see that personality come through. So she has her presence, she has her business premise, and she's building that branding persona. But now it's all about her content, and she still makes it very relatable to her. So you will definitely see on her wall, her feed, tons of photos of herself and, in different scenarios, doing different things that really reinforces the mission. If the mission is teaching public health, then she's going to put herself in those scenarios, interspersed with all the other kind of infographics.
Yeah. I have to mention one more person. Christine Duff does Little Buff Cakes, and she was a client of mine, and she turned her, competing career into making these protein birthday cakes, and now she just sells the mix so she can ship worldwide. And that's all they do. Like, I think her and her husband both quit their jobs so they can sell these buff cakes, and they actually are really good. So lots of different stories with these people and what they're capable of.
Yeah, and the biggest part there is they built the audience first. They had that audience as a starting point. And I think you have to think of this as a parallel street. There are two sides to this. Everybody in business building a brand needs to work on building an audience, but you also have to curate to and take care of the audience you have. And those things are very synergistic, because if you're already doing that, if you're creating the good content people want, then you will attract even more audience. So I think it's important for people to look at both sides of that at the same time. It's you building the audience so that you can then create some kind of monetization process through that audience. But at the same time, you're never going to build the audience without all the super high quality, tangible content.
Yeah, that's very true.
Well, guys, I would wrap it up like this. If you're taking notes, it's all about the premise. You've got to think of your business identity, who you are, what you're going to be. What is that brand? Could you articulate your brand or your mission in one sentence if somebody asked you? That's really important to define. And then once you're moving beyond premise, it's the quality content that matches that premise. How are you going to create every post every day? What are your themes? What are people going to consistently receive from you that reinforces your mission? And then lastly, it is the photo, the visual type elements. If you are in physique sport and you're trying to attract people to you in any tangent of that realm, then people want to see you. They want to see you living that life. They want to see you looking the part. People love heroes, and you have to become a hero to them. That includes you inserting yourself into the mix as the primary point. The entire point of your brand is centering it around you.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, Adam. Well, again, you are somebody who has done that successfully. You built a business around it, and I think that's a great story in itself. So, if anybody has any questions on this particular topic, on how to build that personal brand, how to create a fitness entrepreneur-based business, feel free to drop us a line. We can certainly branch off into other topics related to this. But we will see you guys next time in Contest Prep University.